Recording has started. We can now officially begin after 4 minutes.
Let's go. Let's
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to season 2 of the Kareem Talks podcast. As you all know, I'm your host, Kareem. And we are in for a wonderful, wonderful topic today. No, it's not the Super Bowl because I don't really like sports like that, unless you count wrestling. Love wrestling. We're not talking about wrestling today. Today, we are talking about probably one of the biggest, most controversial topics in pop culture. And that is, which one is better, Marvel or DC? And I couldn't have this topic with just one person. And as you can see, so no one says I'm being biased, I have a Marvel shirt on and I have a DC hat on. So no one will be able to say I picked a side. Okay? I want to make that perfectly clear. Like I said, I couldn't do this show by myself. I had to enlist specialists in my eyes. We're going to start on the DC corner, all the way from the West Coast.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
All the way from San Diego, California, representing DC. Give it up for my brother, even though I think he's on the wrong side personally. My brother, Ahmad Muhammad.
What's going on?
Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Let's go. For sure. Can I just say something?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is going to make everybody mad, probably. Marvel fans and just fans. I am a Zack Snyder believer.
A Zack Snyder believer.
Good like God Batman Almighty. Versus Superman.
He's already
yeah. I
actually
like Batman versus Superman. I think it's a great movie. I think Batman versus Superman is a great movie, and yeah, and I actually have no hate towards Marvel. You know, it's just I got to defend DC today because DC is always being trashed for no reason. Sometimes they're just getting trashed for no reason.
He says for no reason. He says for no reason.
Sometimes.
But sometimes. We like that. We like that sometimes. That's honesty. And now, on the Marvel side of things, we have my brother from Chicago, currently staying in Atlanta, technically College Park, where I reside currently, representing the Marvel side, by the way, probably wearing the shirt of the best Marvel character in existence. That's not going to get him brownie points with me, but I have to acknowledge it. Spider-Man. Give it up for Shaheed Muhammad. Shaheed, welcome to the show. Welcome.
I gotta be my own superhero, my own cheerleader.
Hey, me too. That's good. That's great. We like that energy.
Because I'm a Miles Morales fan right now.
The better, in my humble opinion, the better Spider-Man. Love Pete. Love
He is the better Spider-Man. He is now. Yeah. Hands down. Yeah.
And now, bringing our second mediator, who's clearly wearing no shirt. So we don't know what side he's on. He is the wild card in all of this. But I'm sure he will bring fair analysis to both sides. Give it up for my other fellow married brother, because Shaheed is married too. Brother D'Anthony Hamid Mohammed. Yo, we can't hear him at all. We can't hear you.
He just exalted himself.
He exalted. We ain't hear no exaltation.
Of you, brother D'Anthony.
Bro, I can't hear you at all. D, we can't hear you. Hold on. He's switching up. He's switching up.
Now, yeah.
Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear us?
Oh no.
Oh no. Technical difficulties.
Oh, there we go.
We got haters that are in the comments.
Already?
No, I'm just joking.
I was about to say, we just started.
They're hacking us right now.
Jesus Christ.
What's up now?
You good? We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Much obliged. Yeah, having a little technical difficulties over here. Some of my equipment decided it didn't want to work today.
Yeah,
be like that.
Yeah, my trucker headsets.
Yeah, you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
This was.
All right.
Yeah.
Enough with the introductions. Everyone knows who you all are already. So let's get into it. Marvel versus DC. And the reason I wanted to do this topic in particular is because this year I know Marvel, I should say, ever since releasing Endgame, has had a very slow, in my eyes, slow build for Marvel, because it's like, okay, now what's next? And no one really knows. There's no real cohesive story right now since Infinity War, which is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, stories in the Marvel universe. While on the other side, with the exception of Wonder Woman 84,
thank you,
DC seems to be on the come up, especially with their deal with HBO Max. I gotta put some respect on it. Them teaming up with HBO Max, and HBO's got a slew of movies coming out along with all the DC stuff. So I gotta give respect where it's due. DC's on a come up right now. So who would you say this year will have the advantage as far as media is concerned? That's movies, that's TV shows this year. Marvel or DC, and why? We want to start off with Ahmad, because he seems to be biting at the bits.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with DC, because honestly, during this whole pandemic, DC has still been releasing a lot of content. For example, Stargirl, which was a pretty good show. And also they did the big DC fandom. That was like big time, where they pretty much talked about a lot of things that's up and coming for DC, not only just with movies and shows, but also with comic books, things of that nature, video games. So like DC definitely won it for 2020, and so 2021 with this whole HBO Max deal, and the movies releasing on HBO Max, and just like what you said, Kareem, including the ones the DC movies, that's pretty big. So 1984 was definitely testing the waters, but everybody kind of made this. So everybody made this disappointed face. I got something to say about 1984 later, but anyways, yeah.
My wife ain't even want to watch it. She told me not to turn it on. That's how
DC definitely got it. But the thing is, like with Marvel, because Marvel is up and coming too, and I got to give it to Marvel with how WandaVision is building up, is starting to look like it's about to be pretty good. So when it comes to shows, Marvel look like it's trying to catch up to DC's tail, but DC has some pretty good shows, so it's going to be kind of rough. It's going to be kind of rough. So, but I still give it to DC.
That is an excellent point because while Marvel has done well in movies, their live action shows have been hit and miss at best. I think the best live action shows they did were on Netflix, and those no longer exist.
Right.
And not even all of them were good. I
It's
wasn't really big on Jessica Jones. Iron Fist was mid.
Second season was pretty good.
Second season was all right, but overall it was kind of mid. Punisher was dope.
Yeah.
Punisher was dope.
That was fire.
Daredevil was dope.
Yeah.
Defenders.
Man.
Defenders was all right. It was all right.
It was okay.
Luke Cage, especially how they left on that second season.
Yes.
Woo.
He looking like he on the fence.
Well, I'm on the fence because of the differences between season 1 and season 2 on Luke Cage. I look at season 1 when they were doing a lot of his character building. They were trying to pay homage to the comic, the comic book version of him. And they had a great villain. They had a great villain. They get a great storyline.
That's true. That's very true.
Season 2, you got a good storyline, and you definitely. Bushmaster. Oh man, his story was.
Bushmaster was.
He was my villain's villain. Yeah, that was my dude right there.
All right, Stokes must
burn. And I loved his character. I loved everything about that storyline until they started pushing these other agendas. And I think everybody that sees it knows where I'm going with that. And it's almost every single time we get a strong black type show like that, pushing our issues, and we have our own bulletproof superhero. Big bald black man is bulletproof. Here, let's inject some of our influence in here. Start putting this other stuff in here. And it just kind of starts.
We're not going to get into it for sake. Otherwise, they'll probably kick me off of here.
Right.
But we all know what episode that was. We know what it was. We know what was going on.
Right.
And I was just like, here's my thing. You want to make your own superheroes with that type of thing?
Character.
Fine. You do that.
Right.
Don't change superheroes who've already been established into fitting your narrative. Don't do that.
That's all I can ask.
Don't do that. You want someone for that? Make your own character. Make your own. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. But otherwise, Luke Cage was really good. But overall, those shows came from Netflix, not Disney Marvel.
Right.
And Disney Marvel is just now getting on the making the live action shows. And to be honest, I'm not excited for them. I've heard good things about WandaVision, and I'm going to start checking that out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not really excited for Black America and the Winter Soldier.
Black America.
I'm not excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm not.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put it out there, and I love Marvel to death.
Cam Newton and the Patriots.
All I feel like I'm gonna witness is it ain't Captain America no color. Not my Captain America. They already mad that Trump is out of office. They gonna say Black Captain America.
Yeah, that's gonna be horrible.
I understand why it was Falcon and not Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier does things his own way. So I understand that, but at the same time, I'm not excited. I don't even know the rest of the show lineup, to be honest. I don't.
It's a mystery. They need to pick up the Punisher again. I know that. I need a season 3.
We need to see all of the Netflix.
Yeah,
we need to see all of the Netflix superheroes make a return in some way, shape, or form on Disney Plus.
Give me a new Danny Rand, though. Give me a new Danny Rand. I'm not. No.
You don't want the old white boy.
No.
You don't want the old.
No. We need at least give me somebody that's convincing me that he's a martial artist.
So we're keeping the guy for Daredevil, keeping the guy for Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
we're keeping it
Bertha, hands down, man, he's the best Punisher I've seen. That's the hands down. He's the best Punisher I've seen. I've seen none better. I mean, I've watched Dolph Lundgren, who played the one in with John Travolta. I can't remember his name. Saved my life. I mean, they've had several different characters.
I'm good at that too.
But this last guy, hands down, the best one. The best one. He gives that raw, he gives the raw grit and grime, and he looks like he bears the actual pain of Frank Castle. He became Frank Castle. That's rare. Yeah, that's rare that you see a person that can fall into that.
By the way, those in the comment section, you can leave your questions. But Shahid, you're watching the comment section, and she says, and my wife agrees with her, 1984 sucked.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want me to go into detail about that?
We got time. We got time.
Hey,
We talked about the show, so it is established that DC has the upper hand in shows right now. That is. I mean,
that's what y'all say, but I'm gonna just hold my tongue until I'm called on.
I mean, we talk about TV. We talking about TV shows right now. Right now, with the exception of WandaVision, DC has the TV show game on lock.
Because of course they got more shows.
I've watched Titans finally.
Right. Yeah.
And
I give a thumbs up to Titans, man. I got to. Yeah.
I was skeptical, but
I'm not with it.
You're not.
Here we go.
Strong DC hate over there.
He like, nah. Right. He like, nah.
But now we're gonna move on from TV shows to before movies. We have to cover cartoons because cartoons was a big part of all of our childhoods and still is to this day. And as much as I love X-Men, as much as I love Spider-Man, DC has dominated cartoons.
And always will.
From movies and
always
shows.
Will.
Very true.
That is like undebatable.
And always will.
Always. Even though the majority of them were Batman movies.
Yes. And that's why. Give people Batman.
But they were
it's
all
guaranteed.
Good. Batman Under the Red Hood. What's the other one? Ninja Batman movie. I was just like, this is absolutely not bad.
Even the Ninja Turtle crossover was good. I was shocked by that.
Batman with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was like, okay.
I didn't even know they had that property. That intellectual property.
They did a collaboration for a crossover.
Yeah,
Man,
that was good.
DC just knows what to do.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Got it.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Yeah, they understand.
I don't know if I probably am the only one who's watched it here, but the Harley Quinn cartoon.
No, I watched
parts. I couldn't catch all. I hadn't caught all of it, but it was.
It's good.
Yeah. That's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's what it is. It's
Batman,
fun. Yeah.
The way they portray Batman and Damian, it's like
it's laugh out loud.
Oh man.
Like 10 out of 10, and they got all the right people to act it out. So
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I haven't gotten that far.
For me,
okay.
I've always been a Harley Quinn and Joker fan. So
because she's just crazy. I mean,
but from what I've watched, I've enjoyed it.
Okay. Then I'll finish it.
I can't really say like as much as I love X-Men and Spider-Man, and those were the only Marvel cartoons that really stuck with me. The majority of them being different renditions of Spider-Man. It's funny because the movies follow the same.
Oh, you can't forget about the Hulk versus.
Yeah, I was going to say those Hulk versus movies. You can't throw them in the trash and Planet Hulk.
Yeah, those.
I can't throw them in the trash, but at the same time, it's like
DC
when compared to DC, is like
what is that? That Black Widow where she teamed up with the Punisher.
I know when you see on Black Widow.
That was
confidential.
Yeah, there it is. That was. Hey, I gotta say that was pretty good.
No.
That was pretty good.
Black Widow has always been mid to me. There are so many other female superheroes that are better.
I mean, but she had no power. She just got them. She got them hands. You know, it hit the leg.
I mean, Storm got hands too.
The storm can summon a whole tornado and just clear out the whole place. I mean, hands versus being electric, a bolt coming out of nowhere. I mean,
all right, fine. Storm may not be a good comparison. Shuri may not with all of her tech.
She's too
Miss
smart.
Marvel, well, Captain Marvel nowadays.
Right.
No, not the movie.
No,
not the movie version.
No, not the movie version.
Not the movie version. We don't like the movie version.
Let me ask
the movie version in this house.
The Marvel. Let me ask something about Marvel on these. Should we have received the comic Thanos?
Yes.
Why?
Emphatically, yes.
I want to hear why. I want to hear y'all opinions why.
Okay. How do I say this? They nerfed Thanos in the movies, if we're being 100% honest.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
A lot. He is not just an average alien. He's supposed to be a celestial. So even without the gems, he should have been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that should have been able to touch him up was the Hulk, but not by much.
We see how that
the Infinity comic, that explains everything.
Right, right.
Because he was ridiculously OP. Ridiculous.
He was busted. Like religious people were so upset with that comic because Thanos was literally a walking embodiment of God.
Mm-hmm.
The religious people were pissed at that comic. Or that's a conversation for another time.
Right.
Yes.
I'm talking about just the
they
new
did not expand. I feel like they rushed the entire Infinity War saga with all these movies.
They didn't have the X-Men.
Your universe. We should have gotten another Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Right.
With Adam Warlock, Thanos' proper rival, not Iron Man. And I love Iron Man. I love him to death. Okay? I love Iron Man. Iron Man should not have been fighting Thanos. It was supposed to be Adam Warlock.
Okay.
But things happened with directors and whatnot. We couldn't get a Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah. Well, what about Scarlet Witch? Like
Scarlet Witch?
They should have made. They definitely should have made her beat Thanos.
I mean, yes, she's powerful, but think about it. And this is why I keep saying Thanos was nerfed. When you have the Infinity Gauntlets, you are literally God on Earth. Hell, the Reality Stone alone,
yeah.
coupled with all of the other gems, Thanos should have been. You know what Thanos did in the comics? He lowered his power to 50% and still bodied the Avengers and the X-Men. He lowered his power to 50%, still bodied everybody.
The way he did Iron Man was
Spider-Man. No one should have been able to get the jump on him with the gauntlet.
For one.
Two. There's so many times where I've seen, even with the whole them trying to get the gauntlet off of him in Infinity War, that shouldn't have even happened. And that whole sequence with him and Doctor Strange, that was cool and everything. It was. I'm not gonna lie, I marked out in the theater, loved it. But that shouldn't have even happened.
Why is that?
Because even though Doctor Strange is supposed to be like he's mastering the what are those arts called? I forgot. The something.
Mystic art.
The mystic arts. Thank you. Even with all of that, Thanos already had the Reality Stone. Thanos could have easily reduced Doctor Strange to nothingness at any given time. Any given time.
While they were fighting, if I'm not mistaken, Doctor Strange still had the Time Stone on, did he not?
Doctor Strange still had the Time Stone, but the Time Stone only works with time. He didn't use the Time Stone.
At all.
He was using his own mystic arts.
Which is why I was thoroughly confused in the first place. You have the time.
Go forward in time to look into the possibilities, not as a he didn't use it for fighting. He used it to look at the possibilities. So evidently, it wasn't going to turn out well.
That one possibility, right?
Right.
That one possibility. Now, here's where plot holes start coming up. after Thanos went and ripped the Mind Stone off of Vision, kind of like what's going to happen to little Uzi Vert.
Y'all stupid.
I mean,
hey man, he set himself up for that.
$21 million diamond in your head.
$24 million.
Shoot, I'll snatch it out, Thanos style.
Exactly.
Man.
But when Thanos had the Mind Stone, that with the Time Stone, he should have been able to go back and witness that moment with Doctor Strange, right? Looking at all those alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's how busted he was supposed to be. But no, for the sake of the movie, for the sake of the plot, they nerfed him. You have to do
that. A lot of things in comics don't transfer over well cinematically when you're dealing with actors and things like that. So
I think they did a good job.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was a good movie for a moviegoer. There we go. Right. For a comic book lover, I feel like they should have expanded their universe more. Should have brought on Adam Warlock. Should have given us the X-Men and the Fantastic Four already. And you should have started establishing the big guns. A proper Galactus. A proper Celestials. The one above all. The Living Tribunal.
You can't do that if you don't have the film rights. Though.
These people have.
That's what it comes down to. They're like, yeah, we'd love to give all that, but we're tied up in legalities right now.
Like, that makes no sense. No. By the time Infinity War and everything, by the time all of these movies started being made, before we even got to Infinity War, I believe DC had bought the rights to Spider-Man, bought the rights to Fantastic Four, and Marvel, my fault. Disney bought the rights to X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. So there's no reason why we didn't get an expansion of them yet. We should have.
Well, Marvel didn't get the rights to Spider-Man. They partnered up with Sony.
Well,
Sony,
You're right. They didn't write the Fantastic Four or X-Men until recently as well, because they just bought that from Fox. The Fox deal just went over recently.
No. It was, I would believe, in 2017 or 2018.
Right, 2017, you already had these movies planned, so there's no way they could just throw them in there.
Not throw them in there per se, but what I'm saying is, while they were working on the licenses prior, try buying the licenses then, because Disney money is Disney money.
Right, that's a whole different level of money.
You can still work on expanding your universe.
That's that money.
Yeah,
and then
Disney money.
push your plans ahead and build your universe. Okay, they built some of the mainstream guys, but even the mainstream guys weren't as powerful as who Thanos had to actually face in the comics.
Right.
And even you could have did shows. You could have did a whole Thanos backstory. I wanted to see Lady Death.
You know what? It's still not too late for that.
I wanted to see Thanos simp for Lady Death.
It's not too late.
Oh, it's not too late for that. I think
it would have been better if they used Hela. I always wanted to see
Hela would have been great. Hela would have been wonderful. I thought they were going to go that route.
Yeah. But they simped his whole nihilistic agenda because, certain things, like I said, they don't transfer over well into a movie. So for the sake of the audience and for the sake of children, they made it balance in the universe versus I'm just obsessed with death. You got to give someone more.
He was still going to do that, but he was going to do that to impress Death as well. That was still his agenda.
That was his agenda.
That was his agenda in the comic books.
And you can make him more. It's about giving him more dimensions and understanding his side. So him just being a worshiper of death doesn't really go over. You can't identify.
He wasn't. Well, that was supposed to be his bae until Deadpool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was his woman.
That was his woman.
The Mac.
That was his girl. before Deadpool snatched her up. But before we continue this, we got to go to commercial break. We are 34 minutes in. That is crazy.
Already.
Already.
Yeah,
we didn't even really start. Yeah, we got to get into
we didn't really get into it like that. Let me show you the screen real quick.
I'm ready to box with Shaheed.
We just throwing jabs out there right now.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna have to mute you guys for a moment as we go to our commercial break, and we definitely have to continue this conversation. I don't think this is gonna last for just an hour. We're definitely going over. Alrighty, and the screen is now being shared. And now for our commercial break. Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. Peace, ashe, and assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. Peace, ashe, and assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Kareem of Kareem Talks. You know, that wonderful podcast you're listening to? But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about aretheywoke.com, a website that was built by my uncle to house conscious clothing as well as conscious branded merch, such as How to Eat to Live, and 1,000 facts about the Negro. But let's get back to this wonderful looking clothing that allows you to define who you are. We have things for the men, we have things for the women, we have things for the children, and it's all conscious-oriented merch. So I'm telling you, as someone who owns a hoodie, and it's a comfortable hoodie, by the way, go to aretheywoke.com. Ladies, get you a queen shirt. Brothers, come get you some of this merch. Because I'm telling you, it's conscious-oriented, it's comfortable, and you're going to love it. Peace.
Hi, my name is Raiden Scott.
My name is Yasmin. It's Jamari X. Allen.
Go to the Homeschooling Society.
Go to the Homeschooling Society. I attend the Homeschool Society.
Greetings. My name is Sabbath Muhammad, founder, owner, and CEO of the Homeschooler Society, LLC.
Here at the Homeschooler Society, we pride ourselves in bringing full and complete understanding to all of our students. Our method is simple, not moving on until the child fully understands.
I do what I do as an educator because I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school. I remember teachers and educators not showing as much care and patience as they could. This widespread way of teaching drives me to do what I do.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was a wonderful commercial. Please support aretheywoke.com and please support the Homeschooler Society. Soon, my wife, Sister Sabbath Muhammad, who you saw in that lovely commercial, will be accepting middle schoolers. So if you are interested in enrolling your child in the Homeschooler Society and you do not want your child to be in these COVID-19 ridden public schools, send your child to the Homeschooler Society. Also, for any black businesses who would like their advertisements to be on the Kareem Talks podcast, please message at the Kareem Talks podcast on IG or at Kareem Talks on Twitter, or message the Kareem Talks podcast Facebook page. And buy my merch at welcome-to-kareemtalks.com. I got shirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, soon pencils. Buy my merch. All right.
I'm a hustler, homie.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like, get that money. You understand me?
Yes, sir. Money, sir. Gotta do
Kareem
yourself
gets
out here.
money.
But now, back to our topic at hand. We were talking about how comic books, like the literal story, the original stories don't necessarily translate well to film. Please, like, go into that.
Let's
And
get on
then
the
we
deep.
can talk about why Wonder Woman 84 was trash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
look. Yeah, let's look at. Because man, BBB.
Oh,
Shoot, you hear me? Shoot.
Yo, look, yo. In defense of 84, man, I gotta defend
Here
it
we go.
because listen. I have to defend it because it's some DC movies that I do say that are trash. One of them is the Justice League movie. That was, Joss Whedon's Justice League. We don't know what Zack Snyder got up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said before, I'm a Snyder believer. Yeah, that was a trash movie. But 1984, I was definitely on the ropes. I was on the fences with 1984. I don't really think it was a terrible movie, but I don't think it was a great movie. So I will let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, and I'll tell you why I think it was not a good movie, at least as far as like certain visuals and stuff like that. Some CGI was kind of crap, but the movie, it had a pretty good story, but it wasn't a comic book movie story. It wasn't enough action, right? It was more of a love story and trying to save humanity, and people wasn't looking for that. They were looking for Wonder Woman to, a lot of action. Wonder Woman whooping everybody, just like
What she did in the first one,
and kick butt.
Yeah, what she did in the first one.
And
what
kick butt.
Yes. What she did in the first one.
because that first one was legit.
But they made it into a love story, and I think as far as moviegoers and comic book lovers, they we didn't want to see that. We wanted to see Wonder Woman, pretty much, excuse my language, kicking ass and not being a lover. You know what I mean? We really wanted to see her, and we didn't really need the whole story about saving humanity.
They made it soft. She was a Stone Cold Killer in the comics. And the cartoon.
Right.
The only person that ever got through there was Batman.
The only one.
But when you look at it from a story side or point of view, it wasn't really a bad story. It wasn't terrible, you know what I mean? But it wasn't great. So I gave it like, it was good. I gave it like a C or something like that. Probably I don't know. I probably should have not gave it a B. But I gave it a C. I don't think it was. I don't think it was
borderline. You right by a D.
That's best by. I give that movie a F minus.
Damn. I'll leave give it a D minus.
Flat out.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll give it a D minus.
Hey man.
I'll give it a D minus because he's right. On a story level, it wasn't a bad story. As far as with the Rock and everything, there's definitely a lot of things they could have done to make certain stuff better. But no, first of all, cinematically speaking, that movie's manipulative. It's very emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
Because it tries to it hangs your entire experience on the final moments of the film. And it's like, forget everything else. Like you said, the effects were bad. The movie first of all, the first half of this movie, I would say the first 2/4 of this movie, the first act and the second act, are horribly boring. Like, for real. There's nothing that happens that gets your attention. They try to throw in this rushed scene of her doing all this stuff on Themyscira, where she's stuff And it's like, okay, you did all that just to have this one moment where she's like, cheating isn't good or whatever. So it's like, it's manipulative because they throw in these movie scenes in the trailer to make you think is something that it's not. And that's manipulative.
False advertising.
It's very much false advertising, especially when into these action scenes. Like it's almost like there was two different directors, but there wasn't. Patty Jenkins did both of these movies, but it's like it's almost like somebody directed it too differently because one is very action heavy, and then the other one you think is going to be action heavy, but it's not. It's just cheesy. And all they did was take the nostalgia of the 80s with the Superman movie, and they just they literally copy and pasted Superman 2 and tried to change little things around and make you feel like the nostalgia is what you're going for. But no, that's lazy. That's lazy writing. That's lazy storytelling. So, I just think that was horrible. And then just certain things just did not make sense. Like the way that she could make the damn plane turn invisible. Come on.
Also,
like
pointed out how
that has never been her power. Ever.
Right.
I can't defend that.
Never. And then
it's a dub.
What they're trying to do, like for the first movie, they killed off all the gods. Like I always hated that part of the movie because it's like she's a character from Greek mythology. Right. If you kill off Mount Olympus, that's destroying your world building. So now basically you're giving her carte blanche to basically do whatever a god can do, which is what they tried to do in the second movie, which is she just thinks about turning the plane invisible and it turns invisible. And there's like multiple moments like that in the movie where you're just like, okay, this makes no sense. And you're supposed to just take it in for this last 10 minutes of the movie where she's literally looking at the camera, giving this big exposition speech about the world and how it is. And that's emotionally manipulative. I
wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, it was, listen, the ending was very good. It was very touching. But it's emotionally manipulative. Because you have to suck in all of that first act. 2 hours, a lot of time for 10 minutes of good quality movie. That's not a good trade-off.
That super feminism crap.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the whole plot of it was.
The first one was balanced.
Yep, the first one was very.
It was balanced because it showed you that she doesn't know everything about men, so you can't judge the world as it is. That's what Steve Trevor was supposed to be teaching her. That you can't just judge all men by what some men do, and you gotta believe in. I didn't have a problem with that. Like the feminism was at a mild level. This one, every man in the movie is a freaking pedophile, rapist. Like you trying to. It's just horrible. Like the dude. It was that. Yeah. It was. He got his ass whipped the first time, and then the second time he's like, he doesn't get enough. He comes back and he's like,
it's like a masochist or something.
Like, you didn't learn your lesson the first time.
Yeah, I gotta put on the bias now, bro, because
it was horrible, man. The way we was portrayed was horrible. It was the only good guy, the only good man in the movie is Steve Trevor, and that's because she's sleeping with the guy. That's the only reason.
Damn.
That's look. I think that's what I think the whole story.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No, I think the whole story was leading up to that because, it was kind of showing like, the greed of men, like.
Wait, I think he froze.
He froze.
There we go.
Okay.
Said the greed of men, that's where you left off.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, she was I think she was like showing like, the greed of the greedy desires of not just men, but also just human beings, you know what I mean? And how our desires can catch us up and all of those things, because I guess, you know, The Rock had something to do with if you wish it, you know, you kind of get this whole bad situation and all that other type of stuff. And so I seen that part and I was like, well, okay, that sounds all right. You know, there definitely was some parts, like I said, like this wasn't a great movie. I thought it was good. It was it was just all right. You know, but you know, it wasn't like just terrible. Like, you know what I mean?
You were really rooting for this movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, I gotta defend it because watching it, I'm not only am I like a DC fan, or I'm a Marvel fan too, but I'm also a movie goer too. So like I watch a lot of movies, and so like looking at it from like just watching it as a movie, it wasn't terrible, but it was terrible in comic book movie world. I gotta admit that. Like, this is not a comic book movie. Like, this is terrible when it comes to comic book movies.
DC could truly take over this industry if they would make their live action movies that reflected their cartoon movies as much as they could.
You know what? I have one person. I have one person who could single-handedly put DC at the top in every way, shape, or form.
I know who's coming up.
Static.
I know who he's about to say.
Static.
Virgil.
Static. Static. Hands down.
I don't know if you're ever going to watch my show or listen to
it. Give us Static Shock.
But I'm telling you, give us Static Shock, a proper Ahmad skin Static Shock with the dreads, with the suit, not the
all that, not
the one from the cartoon.
Yes.
If you give us Static Shock, you're taking all of my money.
You got it.
It's guaranteed.
You guaranteed. You got it.
Story. If you have all your characters built properly,
man,
I'll take back everything I've said about every last one. I mean, Titans is proof that some of their things can translate pretty well.
Yeah. Titans is proof of that.
Was good until the end.
Who?
Titan seasons 2 was good until the end. That Deathstroke was awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You really felt like this dude was scary. Like they really made him. Isai Morales was a very good Deathstroke because he carried the presence and the fear of
Slade,
Deathstroke
Slade Wilson.
Yeah, like he was Deathstroke. That was a very good Deathstroke. Like I said, Titans. My problem with Titans is that Titans
do something.
You said what?
It's proof that DC can actually make magic. Right there, the way you're describing Deathstroke and how good he was, is proof that DC can do something. And you gotta stop relying. You have to stop relying on Batman as the
man. You
have to. You have
they lean on that dude too much. I'm tired of seeing Batman movies right now.
Batman centric, and don't get me wrong. I love Christopher Nolan's
Batman was a very good movie.
I love Christopher Nolan's Batman, except Rise of the Dark Knight because that Bane was trash. Love Tom Hardy. Hated that Bane. Bane should not have been put in realistic scope. You could have used the Riddler. You could have used the Riddler. That would have been way better. But just using Batman and all. I mean, Batman's in. I mean, I get he's part of the universe and he's a mainstay. But when you make someone your cash cow, you don't give yourself room to develop your other superheroes.
And you don't give people a chance to even to miss it. Hell.
You don't. Because then they got this whole thing. And don't get me wrong, that I'm probably going to see. It's very likely I'm going to see the that Batman movie with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm gonna see it. Oh, I know everything's buzzing, but I'm going to see it.
That trailer broke the internet, bro.
Amazing. Yeah. It was amazing. And
that trailer was amazing.
It proved to me that Robert Pattinson is more than Twilight.
Brother Ahmad burn out too.
You said what?
Brother Ahmad dipped on us?
Huh?
Ahmad.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. I'm here.
He hired the supervisor.
Come back in, shit. But yeah, Robert Pattinson really showed that he could play a young Bruce Wayne and a young Batman. But I'm like,
Robert Pattinson is a good actor, though.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that
Stop.
after Twilight.
I mean, yeah, he was in things after Twilight, but what do we know him for mostly?
Of course, we know him for that. He hasn't had
Exactly. And this Batman is a really big franchise. So I was slightly skeptical, but he proved me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I love the tone of this Batman because it's first of all that I watched that trailer so much.
That man is dead. He's dead.
I love that.
You heard that skull crunch. You heard that crunch near the end. He broke that man's wrist, broke his arm, kept hitting him, and bashed his brains into the pavement. If you're telling me that man is alive, you are a damn liar. And then he ends with, I am vengeance. Yes.
Yeah, we see.
I mean, that Nirvana, went hard with that trailer, though. That song from Nirvana, Something in the Way.
Something in the Way, yeah.
Oh,
that song went hard. I was like, damn, it just put you in. And then, first of all, Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin. You might not have noticed it, but all that prosthetic.
What?
Yes.
That was Colin Farrell?
That was Colin Farrell that was shooting and was like, this guy's crazy. Oh, that was Colin Farrell.
Wow.
Did not know that.
Fuck that. You're a real one. You're a real one.
Yeah, he don't miss nothing.
Here's my thing. You see, we're all talking about that new Batman. We should be talking about that with other DC superheroes.
There it is.
Batman should not be the only cash cow. When Batman has had more movies than Superman, and I don't
cartoons and live action. And TV show.
Man of Steel was so good. Man of Steel
he was like great. Batman because he's cooler though. Like Superman, I'm sorry, he's too much of a square for this generation. Like for real, people do not with Superman like that.
But Man of Steel changed that.
He is not this generation hero.
No, Man of Steel.
I'm just being real with you. He was corny back in the
Hey,
day.
Homelander is this generation's Superman.
This is why I didn't like Superman. You're right. Superman has always been
so Kareem,
do-gooder guy, but Man of Steel put a more stoic Superman, and that fit.
Oh yeah, Man of Steel was good.
Man of Steel, yeah.
You had that duality. You had that duality between the dorky farm boy Clark Kent and like Superman being this benevolent being. That's how Superman should have always been.
And they killed Zod.
Could have been black, but that's another story.
Yeah, boy.
But
explain that one to me.
But
Earth 2, Zod.
I've never known white people to get their power from the sun. So
yeah.
But like I said,
just saying.
Another story. It's another story. But see,
that's not gonna work.
Superman.
Hold on, Kareem, did you say that you didn't like Bane?
What does it you don't like about me?
Wow.
In my house. This show ain't never gonna make it to the area.
No, the doctor did not. I was born in it. Oh, They turned Bane from a Hispanic lucha wrestler into a British. He's a British bouncer with a muffled voice.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
how petty, man.
Shouldn't have. Could have been Riddler. Riddler, I stand
Batman, I will break you. Watch that.
When they did the back-breaking scene, bro, he just
that was weak.
I mean, Christian Bale just bounced off his knee like
nothing.
That was the famous back-break scene. Really?
That was it. Like what?
That he looked like he was in more pain with a dude trying to punch his spine back into place.
First of all,
that guy's the real villain.
As a fan of the Nolan series, but a lover of action, I don't think they gave Batman the right fighting style.
No,
I think Batman
never.
versus Superman had the best fight scene for Batman, which was the warehouse scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Batman
that was
using a gun.
That was the Arkham Asylum Batman. That
Yeah.
Factual.
Because Casey fighting method is not the most prettiest thing to look at on the screen. And I think like
it's bulky and stiff. It's not very fluid. Batman's a fluid fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very fluid,
Man,
and he
you're supposed to be trained by the League of Assassins. You better be a good fighter.
Are you talking
better than you? That's a problem.
Yeah.
But I think
that's why I wanted to see in the Batman. If you see the trailer for the Batman, the new one, you see him fighting Catwoman, and she's using capoeira, and he's like, of course, you saw when he broke dude's arm, and
we're not watching the same trailer. I need to watch what you watch because apparently I didn't catch these things.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all the violence of the one I've seen.
Every movie, every DC property or Marvel property, I always look at fight scenes and I always look at fight choreography.
You do have a
of course
background, so that makes sense.
And he is a choreographer himself, so
I'm an aspiring director and stunt coordinator myself. Yes,
that's
I always look.
That's actually dope. That is
So you should start putting fight scenes together for PSK to give to these guys. Then, if that's the case,
that would be dope.
Look,
to get
talk about this off the interweb. We're live right now. Someone still.
Okay, I got some.
What? Go ahead. We're still on our topic.
Jared Leto.
Give us like.
Hold on, wait, listen.
Extra minutes. We got 30 extra.
Jared Leto's Joker. Did he do himself dirty, or did they do him dirty?
God.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Jared Leto. He shouldn't even be mentioned. His name should be banned from the line for the joke.
Wait a minute with the whole Jared Leto thing. All right, I'm gonna be honest. Okay.
No.
Hold on. When Jared Leto played the Joker initially, and this is Suicide Squad, I thought it was absolute garbage, and I was just like, if this is the extent of his acting abilities, he better not ever touch this role again. This was before I saw It's the Little Things. Grant, It's the Little Things. That movie with Denzel.
Denzel watched another movie that they said sucked.
Yeah, the movie was good. It was good. This is the point I'm trying to make. Jared Leto had some really good acting in this movie. The problem with that movie was the anticlimactic ending. But Jared Leto's acting in It's the Little Things made me reconsider him playing the Joker.
I don't think that he should have been in Suicide Squad. I think that they should have. First of all, Suicide Squad, if it was me directing it, I would not have made such a mystical threat be their first goal with the Suicide Squad. Because what happened was you had these characters who are shooting. First of all, what DC has not mastered, that Marvel has mastered, is giving everybody their own set piece. Right. DC has not done that. In Suicide Squad, everybody should have had their own moment to shine. Deadshot should have been able to do things that normal people with guns should not be able to do, which would have made it a cinematic set piece. But he's shooting at little zombies, and they're like, there's no real connection for the audience to be like, "Ooh, that was cold." So the whole movie, there's nothing that really grabs your attention in terms of the action. And then you have this character who's such an out of this world threat, and you're like trying to make it able to be defeated with guns, bullets, and fire, I guess. But it just didn't. I wouldn't have put that as a villain. I would have had a more tangible villain that they could have fought that would have been more impressive cinematically to look at. But
something
I don't
like
think
the cinematic one, where they had to break into Arkham. You could have started off with that instead of jumping into some mystical type stuff. Yeah, but it's going back to that Jared Leto thing.
Exactly. And that's why I think the second one is going to be a lot better, because they realize, or at least James Gunn, he realizes, he's going for a lot more comic, closer.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're going into Corto Maltese, which is the island, which is perfect for the Suicide Squad to just kill off some people in some real nice ways. You know, so I think he learned that lesson. He already knows what he's doing.
Speaking of movies, though, and this is what we're gonna have to like round it up. We all know the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3, that's coming out. And
Right.
Oh Lord, it's not even Tom Holland's movie anymore. They didn't kick him out.
Basically,
Really?
I'm really thinking it's gonna be a Spider-Verse movie because of some of the names
which is crap. That's crap.
It's not time yet. It's not time yet.
Yeah. First of all, Homecoming to me was a disappointment. I don't
big disappointment.
Yeah, I don't think that he should have.
Hold up. Do you think it was a disappointment because of the actor Tom Holland or the movie itself?
The movie itself.
No, I don't have a problem with Tom Holland.
Yeah, the movie itself. Tom Holland is not a bad actor. It's the movie itself, the storyline.
But now you're going to go into this multiverse. First of all, you already had Spider-Man into the multiverse. So what are you doing?
Which is the best Spider-Man movie of all time.
Ever. Yeah. I still watch it.
I like it because it introduced Miles Morales and thing, but I think that it should have because it's like what Sony's trying to do is milk Spider-Man to death. Literally.
DC did that to Batman, so why not?
Anytime you take a character and you're gonna make a franchise out of their villains, you're milking this property to death. Like, there's no reason to do that. So I don't like the business side to what they're doing with Spider-Man. I didn't like that Miles Morales had to share so much of his screen time with these other people to set up future stuff. And that's a problem that DC, that's the reason why DC is behind in terms of movies to me with the Marvel Universe. Because they started later, but they didn't set up anything. They were just throwing people. When Batman versus Superman came,
they were trying to play catch up.
Yeah, but you're throwing everybody in one movie, and that's what made it horrible. Because it's supposed to be Batman versus Superman.
That's what made Spider-Man 3 horrible. That's what made Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire horrible. Too many villains.
I didn't think it was horrible.
Bro, Spider-Man.
Oh God, no. 3 was horrible. No,
my guy.
I didn't have a problem with 3. Maybe that was
Venom, Sandman, Hobgoblin.
God, that was a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but when I was a kid watching it, was beautiful.
Not even a major guy. No.
A major villain?
Sandman's not a major villain.
No, he's not, but he's a known Spider-Man villain, though.
He's known. Here's my thing. You had the first 2 movies were absolutely fine, right? With two being in my top 3 Spider-Man movies. Enter the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi.
Okay.
And the first Spider-Man with Sam Raimi again. And maybe I'll throw Far From Home with Spider-Man 2. Maybe. Because
I can see that. I can see that.
Far From Home was better.
I didn't like Far From Home.
It wasn't bad. They could have done better. Like Far
From Home.
I mean, I liked it because what they did with Mysterio, man.
Yeah.
That is how you do Mysterio.
Yeah, he should have more scenes though of him using the illusion effect on him besides the creatures, and I think that scene he did where he fights
the scene at the end though, where he pumped fake and he made it look like he was getting arrested, but he fooled Spidey again and caused him to get ran over with a train. Yeah, Spider-Man on full PTSD mode, bro. The way they did Mysterio,
yeah, I think that's
good real life. I still don't like what's his name to this day? Ryan Gosling. I don't like
Ryan.
him. I don't dig him. He ain't my man's.
You don't like Ryan who?
Ryan, I can't pronounce.
What's his last name?
Gyllenhaal. Something.
Gorilla Mo or something like that.
Gyllenhaal?
Huh?
Bubble Boy.
Yeah, Bubble Boy.
Go that much. The guy but back to the Spider-Man 3 movie that's supposed to be coming out at the end of this year. They've thrown a lot of names. They've thrown William Dafoe, the OG Green Goblin.
Okay, the OG Green Goblin. Cool. Cool.
The guy who played Matt Murdock from the
Yes, Charlie Cox.
yes,
Charlie Cox, yes, sir.
terrible last name, but great actor.
Well, I can imagine that boy got roasted in school.
Yeah.
God, they played that boy up in school,
Wonder
man.
if
I'm
he's
telling
related to Catherine Cox from Friends. Who else? They even teased. Now get this.
Jamie Foxx.
Huh?
They bringing Jamie Foxx back, huh?
Jamie Foxx, Electro.
Really?
And
Okay.
y'all gonna laugh at me, but I kind of like Jamie Foxx as Electro, low key.
I do too, a little bit. It's
In a
fitting.
world without power.
Andrew Garfield.
But
In
that's
a
not
world
the big thing.
where there
The big
is
thing is,
Electro.
these are just rumors, it's not confirmed, but Toby and Andrew have been on set.
Yeah. I don't know what
Toby
they're
and
doing.
Andrew.
I think personally, the third movie, you should have someone like I don't know, Craven the Hunter, or
But here's the
somebody
thing.
that you haven't seen
I
yet.
want this movie to be good, but at the same time, I don't want this because the Spider-Man movie has never done well in threes.
Right. Ever.
Every
So
time.
far.
And
So
Tom
far.
Holland has a chance to break that curse. The Spider-Man series has never done well in threes. Ever.
They might pull this one off with Marvel.
We'll see.
Just might.
They got
The
that,
reason why I say-
that Disney money.
They got that Disney check behind them.
Excuse.
Yeah, you got that Disney check behind
Look,
you. You might be able to do something.
Look. The reason why I say this is because y'all got to watch WandaVision.
You got it. Yep, he's right.
My wife is watching this right now. My son watch that right now. I might check it out.
There's this multiverse show coming out called Marvel's What If, and I think Doctor Strange is going to be behind it. It's going to be kind of like a Marvel Twilight Zone thing. Well, they're kind of going to be teasing the multiverse.
But it's animated though. It's CG animated.
But still,
It's still though. Hey,
It's
It'll still be good, I'm sure. I'm just saying, like it's anime. I just wanted to make that clear.
anime or not, it may translate into the movies. We don't know.
It may.
Or they might just add it a part of the cinematic
Doctor Strange is supposed to be the one narrating.
order.
But that's the problem, because everything's got to be connected. So that's why Spider-Man is suffering his individuality, because they made it too much. They made him rely so much on Iron Man that he didn't even.
Iron Man Jr.
Yeah, it's not even about who Peter Parker is in New York and his conflicts in New York. His villains were based upon his time in New York, what he was going through in New York, growing up, stopping crime, fighting people who were too powerful for the cops in his own neighborhood. So that's the dynamic that he doesn't have right now, because everything got to be connected to something. So that's why he's losing his individuality. Now in the third movie, you're going to put all these other people into his movie, and he's going to continue to suffer, I feel. Because
get outshined, so to speak.
Doesn't matter how good of an actor you have if your story is not essential to who the character is, then he's missing out.
Unless they use the other two Spider-Men who they've teased to be in this movie to build up what's his name? Tom Holland Spider-Man. Think about it.
How you gonna use two previous Spider-Man from two different movies you're already deflecting attention away from the new actor.
I mean, think about it. It worked for Miles into the Spider-Verse, right? And they had a comic, Spider-Man, with the same concept. And think about it. Tom Holland, not Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, great Peter Parker. His Spider-Man was very Boy Scoutish, right? Andrew Garfield, wonderful Spider-Man. His Peter Parker was a hipster.
I didn't like him as Spider-Man.
Peter Parker was a hipster. But his Spider-Man was on point.
That would be Peter Parker as a as a stoner for Andrew Garfield.
Exactly. His Peter Parker was
Something was wrong. Something was wrong with him. I never liked him as Spider-Man. He always felt like
never liked him as Peter Parker. His Spider-Man trash talking was really good.
He reminds me of
like
Peter Parker into the multiverse. He reminds me of the one that came back, that came over there with Miles, the one that was real, was a slacker.
40-year-old
the 40-year-old virgin up in this. He would be a good one.
The multiverse concept. I didn't like that multiverse concept. I think that the way that he's introduced in the Spider-Man video game is the best way that they could have did it. Because you don't use multiverse and all that stuff. You can just say he was there the entire time. Yeah, so because it's not about him, it's about making money. That's the only thing that they're doing with this multiverse thing. You're using it to make money, because conceptual wise, unless you're using it to bring in a villain or to advance the story and advance this new phase, there's no reason why you should be bringing in the multiverse. At least for Sony.
And the combat DC, because DC announced their multiverse before Marvel did.
That's true.
True that. Okay.
No thanks to the Flash. Stop ruining timelines, sir.
Stop going back to save people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but these other characters from these multiverses, they still are not successful characters. Like Miles Morales is the only character that they use that branched off from the multiverse that is a good character now that they brought into Earth 616. So you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these multiverse characters
from that universe now. Yep. So to wrap it all up. And I know I titled this, and I'm still going to title it Marvel versus DC, but this is really just a bunch of comic book nerds talking about both.
That's it. Well, hold on.
Companies and franchises, and talking about what we love about them and what they need to work on. Now, Marvel, you've already finished with Infinity War. It's done. But, and I said this when Infinity War came out, that Infinity War movie was not actually Infinity War. That was the events of Infinity Gauntlet. We can still get
a true Infinity War.
Just give us Adam Warlock, or when he turns into the villain, Magus or whatever.
Right.
Give us the evil clones of all the Avengers and the X-Men, and give us a proper Planet Hulk. Okay?
Not no Ragnarok. Not a Ragnarok.
And the
proper Planet Hulk.
We did talk about that we have to probably do on the next one is talk about the games.
I mean, these games are hit and miss, because I can choose the best of DC's games was Batman Arkham Asylum, the Arkham series.
Yes.
And the best of Marvel's games is the Spider-Man game.
Yes.
Because every other, if we go into it, I'm going to start having flashbacks of Superman 64. And I don't
oh God, no.
I don't
know.
go through that.
No.
Batman and Spider-Man are right now
concerned.
Yeah.
As far as Marvel is concerned, with the exception of the Spider-Man game, which is based on its own thing, all of their video games have been based off the movies, and their movie video games have been trash across the board.
So we can't knock out their fighting games though.
In that conversation in the bud, there's no need.
Can't knock their fighting games though.
Injustice.
I mean, those fighting games, Marvel Injustice was made by NetherRealm Studios, who making Mortal Kombat. By the way, Mortal Kombat movie coming out in April. We're gonna watch that.
Yes, sir.
And as far as the Marvel fighting games, those are Capcom games that just happen to be licensed by Marvel. So those don't count.
That's right.
Marvel versus Capcom does not count. Love them.
Marvel Nemesis. Marvel Nemesis.
All of that in the bud, huh?
Marvel Nemesis. PS.
Oh, Rise of the Imperfects?
Yeah.
Get that arena trash fighter out of here. Get that out of here.
Y'all the game, man. Y'all some haters.
Brought that up.
That was some haters.
Crap out of here. We don't talk about that game here.
So that game didn't exist. That game don't exist. That never
It
happened.
exists. It's not canon, like Dragon Ball GT.
That was the game we played.
Oh, man.
And now that we've covered everything, what Marvel needs to do, DC, give us Static Shock. That's it.
Nothing
That's all
else.
you have to do.
We don't have no critique for you.
I gotta make an announcement, Kareem. I gotta make an announcement.
What?
They did announce that they're in the works of making a Static Shock movie.
They did.
They did announce it. They're working on it.
They did say that. Hey, the actor is blackity black. He's not
Blackity black.
My complexion or
he can't be Jaden Smith.
He can't be. He needs to be as dark as Ahmad or Shaheed or D'Angelo.
What said it can't be Jaden Smith, man?
Please don't use his old spandex suit with a trench coat with him riding on a tin trash can lid. Give us the one from WB, the one that we know and love.
Right.
The one that had Romeo doing
his intro. Yeah.
That Static Shock. We need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're wrapping it up. Any closing statements, guys, that you all want to make before we wrap this up?
Yes, I would like to make one statement.
Yes.
You know, out of all my years of watching comic book movies and playing the video games and reading the comics, Wonder Woman 84 is by far the trashiest translation. I could not. I really hope the whole world sees this podcast, because I want them to understand how trash that movie. I mean, it's hot dog water and old catfish grease trash. No. It's horrible. That movie should be scrapped, and we should have our minds wiped the fact that it ever existed.
He said it might be erasure.
Right.
Look here, please.
Look into the camera. Oh man.
Any closing statements?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd say that right now DC has a very good opportunity. I hope that it's in the works to do the Mortal Kombat versus DC universe, either a cartoon adaptation of that or comic books of that, because they've already crossed over. So I would love to see that, because WB.
We don't talk about that crossover because that game was also trash.
Yes, it was trash. However, that would be a good, just like what they did with Ninja Turtles and Batman. That would be a good crossover.
You know what? Maybe.
That was a good movie.
Only with a few characters, though.
But
you can't bring the whole universe.
You have to remember, because I don't want this to go into another conversation. We're closing. Here's the thing you have to remember: DC has to be willing to allow their characters to have their heads to be ripped off.
I don't see why not. You see some of these latest animes?
Yeah.
I mean, here's Marvel, and this is why fighting game companies, I don't want to go into this topic, but this is why fighting game companies are particular when crossing over with other fighting game companies. It's the reason we're never going to see a Tekken versus Mortal Kombat, a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, because these companies are not comfortable with their characters getting ripped to shreds by MK characters. It's literally why we've never seen these franchises like come together. You've seen Virtual Fighter and Dead or Alive. You've seen Street Fighter cross Tekken, but you will never see any of them cross over with Mortal Kombat because of the level of violence.
Very true.
It's going to be very hard.
But
DC's violent, though. I mean,
DC wilds out, but it's like once every blue moon. Mortal Kombat wilds out on a regular basis. We just had 11 come out, and there's a fatality of a person swallowing bugs.
Right.
Like, just YouTube the fatality. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to gross up.
Yeah.
Ahmad, final thoughts.
Yes, sir. Oh, just a few thoughts. Some thoughts. About Justice League. About Justice League versus Mortal Kombat movie, I think that can happen, because if you watch one of the latest movies, animation, and freaking Darkseid was
Apocalypse. Oh my God,
ripped apart, literally. It was crazy.
I mean,
that was one of the best animations I've ever seen.
I mean, that's fact. We can say that about the villains. What about the heroes? That is the question.
Yeah, the heroes was
that's exactly why MK versus DC didn't do well, because DC didn't want their characters. They didn't want Wonder Woman. They didn't want the Flash. They didn't want Superman having their spines ripped out. They literally the fatalities were called heroic brutality. So it's no problem with the villains. Darkseid can do that. Doomsday can do that. The Joker can do that. Can Superman do it? Can
no.
do it?
No.
Will it be allowed for it to happen to Wonder Woman?
No.
That is the
well, it would depend on what Superman they put in there, or what
evil Superman could do it.
It depends on which one they put in there.
Justice Superman could do it, but
you got the Dark Lords
off tops,
right.
The Mortal Kombat movie has to perform well first.
There it is. There we go. Yeah.
Huh?
They still have not released the trailer for it. And
they haven't. What they said is getting a rated R rating, which makes me very happy. Make me very happy.
Well, we knew that. I would hope that they would get a rated R rating.
Right.
I mean, PG-13 one that we saw back in the 90s wasn't bad. Well, the first one
wasn't bad because
the first one wasn't. No, I went to the theater to see that. The first one wasn't. The second one.
No,
it was garbage. But let's wrap it on up, guys.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful having you on the Kareem Talks podcast.
Thank you so much.
My throat is almost sore from all of the arguments we got into.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. Tune in next week where I have my sister Sian coming on, and we'll be tackling depression.
Sure.
So it'll be a mixture of serious and silly topics. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming on. And to all of my viewers, thank you all for watching the Kareem Talks podcast. And I'm also accepting donations. My Cash App is $APIDT A. Because all praise is due to Allah.
That's right.
Because I would like to keep the show going, and it costs to have it costs to use all this stuff. So I would really like to keep the show going. I love it. The guests love it. The audience loves it. So thank you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Kareem Talks. Tune in next week. I'm your host, Kareem. That's Anthony. That's Shahid. That's Ahmad. And that's all you need to know.
Peace.
See ya. All right, guys. Recording has stopped.